Well, by the end of today's video, we'll either be in a two-horse race for the title or pretty much have no chance at all of catching Chelsea. Hello and welcome to Club 6, part 14 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we're away against Wolves and then at home against Chelsea, both in the Premier League. Since you were last with me, we had been going along rather nicely, but then we lost against Huddersfield, and that's kind of derailed us a little bit, and the loss against Liverpool wasn't ideal as well. We're also on our way towards getting ourselves knocked out of the Carabao Cup, but no one really cares about that. What we care a little bit more about is the fact that we now find ourselves 7 points behind Chelsea. We do have a game in hand and we do play them on this episode. So with the game in hand being the Wolves game we play first, we could, if we win both of our games, be just 1 point behind them at the end of the episode. And you can see that we are part of a 4-team group with Chelsea, Man United and Tottenham, who are starting to pull away from the chasing pack when it comes to Champions League qualification. And really, Champions League qualification is our goal for the season. So even if we just end up finishing in that top 4, that'll be job done for this season. We have done some transfer business as well. It's partway through January. There may well be more transfers to come as well, because I'm shuffling the deck. I've got rid of a couple of the players that I wasn't particularly happy with, brought in some replacements. One of them's rubbish and the other one's injured, so it's not been the best transfer window so far. But we did get a great deal for Hugo Rondonina. He's gone to Guangzhou Evergrande for £28 million for a player who barely played for us. And we've also sold our left-back Tabarez to Bayern Munich for 18 million, rising to 26.5 million. That was a panic sale because we wanted to strengthen at left-back anyway. We brought in Amaldo Martelet from Benfica for £45 million, thinking he was going to be a superstar. It turns out he's not really any better than Tabarez was. Still not as good as Felipe. So I decided I did have the intention of keeping both him and Tabarez until the end of the season, and then getting rid of Tabarez then and bringing in a backup to Martelet. But I needed to recoup some of that £45 million straight away. Bayern Munich came in, where are we? Like a couple of days later, 5 days later, after Martelet signed, and offered me £26.5 million total for the deal, and I just bit their arm off. But then the other deal was a little bit more sensible. Got rid of Rondonina for 28 million and did bring in a player that we needed. Not necessarily Champions League quality, but we do have a natural defensive midfielder now who can still play in central midfield as well. So he takes Rondonina's place in the squad as like 5th choice central midfielder, but is a proper defensive midfielder if we need one. Loris Sentonze, it's 3-star current ability, not really going to improve very much. No better, according to this, than Leshy or Davidson would be as a holding midfield player. But just the fact that he's natural there and he's been playing for Inter for however many years, it just seems like we've made £9 million and signed a more flexible player who will give us something that we actually need. Signing world-class players at this time of the year is hard. And we have still got £20 million to spend. I'm probably not going to spend it. I'm of a mind now, I think, to save it for the summer just to avoid any more disastrous transfers, because that has not been a great transfer window so far. We have had a couple of offers in also for, what's-his-face, Correa, and we turned down, I think, £26 million for him from Juventus. I know I said before that I would take that kind of offer for him, but look at the season that he's had. He could well be the difference maker this year, so I'm just going to keep him. He didn't cost us anything. We don't need to turn a quick profit on him. It's not like we're desperate for cash, so we'll keep him until the end of the year. Obviously, as soon as I made that decision, he did get injured, and Tommy Merson's going to be in the team regardless. But this is the team we're putting out there for the game against Wolves. We've got Weiss in goal, a back four of Martelet, Felipe, Vitali and Suma, with Leshy and Davidson in midfield, and then Nelson, Merson and DVD in behind Pingu. I think this might be Tommy Merson's first start of the season. No, it's not. He's already started 5 games. I just don't remember him clearly. You made a big impression on me early in the year then, Tommy. I think, if I recall, now it's all flooding back to me. He just had a fairly slow start to the season after being a bit of a superstar for us last year, who never really let us down. He was quite slow to start this season. And with Correa coming in, it just made sense to give him a try, and he's never really looked back. So Merson has struggled to get back into the team. So this is a big opportunity for Tommy Merson. And if he comes in and takes the chance, then if we can get another decent offer for Correa, the fact I can't say his name is reason enough to want to get rid of him. But if we can get another big offer for him before the end of the transfer window and have an informed Tommy Merson still at the club, that seems like good business to me. But I'm not desperate to sell. especially because we are in with a chance of a title push. Although, if that happens too often, you can forget that. It's a cracking goal from Wolves. And if it ends like this, we go into the Chelsea game already, was it 6 or 8 points behind them? And they could pretty much win the title in that game if they beat us, if we lose today. So they're 7 points ahead of us at the moment. It wasn't 6 or 8. They're 7 points ahead of us. They could be 10 points clear by the end of the next game. Obviously the other results need to go their way as well, but 10 points clear after 23 games, that's a league title that is all but won. It would be theirs to lose at that point, but fingers crossed we can come out in this second half, not be as useless as we've been in that first half, find a way to get back into the game, grab the win, go beat them. It's a 1 point gap. We're going to win the league. Hooray. This episode could still go one way or the other. But then I thought that about my transfer window, and then it was just a total disaster. I'm not used to having money to spend on FM18 yet. Although we're into nearly April now, I've never really had money to spend. I've been scrapping around in the lower leagues. What a goal from Davidson. He was money well spent in the summer. He cost us about £40 million. He wasn't a waste of money because he's been a cracking signing. And that is a lovely goal. Right, forget the negativity. Let's go grab another one now. We've got plenty of firepower. We've got the likes of Pingu and Nelson and Dolberg. Well, Dolberg's not on the pitch right now, but he's sat there on the bench. Willis as well. They can all come on if need be. Salcedo. Just need to make the right substitutions. I think we're probably going to take Pingu and DVD off, bring on Dolberg and Willis. We want a goal. We want a winner. So let's make that. In fact, we're going to make a triple substitution because we're going to bring Salcedo on as well. 3 very attacking players on. Let's see if we can grab a winner from somewhere with this new front four that we've just randomly assembled. And goodness me, Wolves have scored again. This wasn't part of the script. I've been dissing Wolves all season. Remember, they were up near the top of the league for at least the first third of the season. They've fallen away a little bit recently, but clearly we miss them and we want to get them back up here with us because this has been a pretty pitiful performance. We've controlled possession nicely, but not done anything with it. We've not had a clear-cut chance in 75 minutes, which is not good enough for a team that seem to think they're in with a chance of winning the league. Nelson forces a save out their keeper. We have had a clear-cut chance now, but we missed it. Nelson with the corner. We're now just scrapping around trying to grab an equaliser, which isn't where I expected to be in the 75th minute of this game. But Salcedo does grab the equaliser. It's an almost instant response again. And now we've got 15 minutes to try and win this football match. All of a sudden, we've had 2 clear-cut chances, moving on from none. Clearly inspired substitutions. 5 minutes on the pitch have created 2 clear-cut chances and grabbed us a goal. One of which has come from one of the substitutes. Well, there was only one. That one was from one of... I know what I mean. Let's grab another one. We've got Dolberg and Willis who are both owing us a goal now, just to make it the most inspired substitution in the history of Football Manager on YouTube. Right, Leshy to Davidson. Salcedo again. Willis is in behind now. Dolberg's in the middle, but Willis had a shot and missed. We are creating some chances now, but unfortunately we're not really converting them. We've had 2 clear-cut chances, 4 half chances, another corner, and it just landed in a pile of orange shirts. There was like 4 Wolves players, and the ball landed between them, and somehow there wasn't an Arsenal player to be seen. Right, Martelet to Felipe. That is a weird pass that deserves to be punished, but I really hope it's not. I don't like the fact that we're watching Wolves attack again with 8 minutes of the game left. We're going to give away a penalty here, aren't we? Or even worse, they're just going to score. Oh, right. Come on, lads. 5 minutes. Just go and grab a winner. It shouldn't be this hard. It's Wolves. Leshy. It felt like he was fouled, but apparently not. And now Wolves are on the break again. And we are struggling at the back, and that's problematic. Felipe covers, but oh my goodness, that was a very risky ball back to Weiss. But we've got the break on ourselves now, and it's with Dolberg. We have no one else up, and Dolberg just can't keep hold of it. This feels like one of those weird, long, end-to-end highlights that's going to end with a goal, and we don't really know which end it's going to end with a goal at, because it's just back and forth, back and forth. Hopefully this is the move that has a goal in it. What was that from Dolberg? What on earth was that? That's one of the worst misses you'll ever see in Football Manager. And I think that was probably the last meaningful action that we'll see today. Going to play Chelsea with 6 points behind them isn't a disaster. A win still puts us just 3 points behind, keeps us in contact with them, but it's not as much fun as being a point away, is it? Right, have we got one last chance? No, because it's fallen back to Wolves again. They've got 20 seconds. If they score here, I'm going to vomit. Vice comes out, covers. I've never noticed the beautiful pink goalkeeping kit we've got before. Presumably, that's our away goalkeeping kit. So if we've been wearing that for the last 16 episodes, 13 episodes, and I've not noticed, then that's just silly. I mean, that result was silly, and now we're playing Chelsea in 3 days' time. At least we're at home. Few changes in for the Chelsea game. Dolberg comes in up front for Pingu because that miss in the last game, that's worthy of a start. David comes into the midfield. In fact, I might swap those two over. I'll definitely swap those two over. And Jamie comes in at right back. We've also dropped down to a standard flexible mentality, as we often do for these big home games. Taken our full team instructions. We just want to feel it out a little bit. If we were away from home, we'd go to that 4-3-3. But at home, we want to just see how the first half hour or so of the game go. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, my goodness me. It's one of those days, is it? I understand now. Why didn't somebody tell me it was one of those days and I just wouldn't have bothered making a video at all? What was DVD doing there? And now we've got Davidson just kicking the ball straight into a blue shirt, but Dolberg picks the ball up over the top, forces a save out the Chelsea keeper, and actually we looked quite lively there. Dolberg probably could have done a little bit better with it, but at least we've created a chance in the first 15 minutes of this game, or even in the first half, which is more than we did against Wolves. Davidson with the shot from range. We've already seen evidence today that he can score from there, but again, straight at the Chelsea keeper. But they've now, I mean, look at the Chelsea front two. Look at the front six. Oh, they are old though. Remember, we're 10 years in the future. So that Mbappe-Jesus strike partnership they've got, they must be approaching their 30s now, if not already in their 30s. I don't actually know how old either of them are in real life, but it's 2028. So they're not teenage. Mbappe's probably still a teenager. Jesus isn't though, is he? So what all that really means is they're both completely in their prime, same as Asensio. I don't know who they've got on the other side, probably someone equally terrifying. No wonder Chelsea are top of the league. What baffles me is Chelsea have assembled this squad and haven't won the league at any point during the save. It's been Man United 9 times, Man City the 10th, I think, off the top of my head. But Chelsea, this is the first time they've shown any kind of league title push, but I guess it's because looking at the team they've got out there, they've gone out and signed the Wonder Kids, and now they're developing. They've signed him, thrown money at him to keep hold of him, and now they're developing into a proper team. It looks like a team that a football manager has picked. It's just literally, let's pick some Wonder Kids. Right, Nelson, talking of Wonder Kids, and that's just not very good. We've dropped all the way down to 4th now. I mean, there's nothing in it points-wise. We're only 1 point behind Man United, who are in second. And I'm not really devastated being 6 points behind Chelsea at this stage. I think at 20, we've only 23 games gone. The 6 point gap is catchable if they have a bad run of form, which they haven't looked like doing so far this season. But there must be a reason they've not won a league. There must be some mental frailty there, but then also from us as well, because we've also not won a league at any point. But I think if we lose this, the title race is over for us, and we just have to concentrate on top 4. And that was close. That was really close. Goodness me. And I'm kind of hoping just to hang on until half time now. I don't really know what I say. I do this a lot. I start with a standard mentality, say we're going to feel the game out. There you go. We felt the game out. Still don't really know what to do, so I'm just going to leave it on a standard mentality and wait for a goal to go in to tell me what to do next. If we score, I'll probably do nothing. I'll eventually go counter-attacking. If they score, we'll eventually control. And we'll just adjust slightly depending on who scores the first goal. If it ends 0-0, we'll standard our faces off all the way through. I think that's a reasonable game plan. Right, let's have a little attack here. Big ball forward from Chelsea. David's got the ball under no pressure at all in midfield. Dolberg's dropped very deep, and it's DVD. Can he beat his man and get the cross in? Kinda. He didn't beat his man, but he got the cross in, and Dolberg's there to nod it past the Chelsea keeper and do a pretty little cartwheel to celebrate. And as things stand, with 35 minutes of this game remaining, we'll only be 3 points behind Chelsea. Imagine how different the world would be if we'd have beaten Wolves like we were supposed to. But Dolberg seems rather happy with himself. He's done the clap and the flip. So what a happy boy. And probably even more significantly than only being 3 points behind Chelsea if it ends like this, we actually find ourselves 8 points ahead of Bournemouth, who are the 5th place team at the moment, and presumably going to crumble. It will be Leicester or Man City, I imagine, who end up finishing in that 5th place, depending on how the season goes. I don't know if I mentioned on the previous episode, Jonathan Miller, currently top scorer in the whole Premier League, was scoring at more than a goal a game. I think I might have mentioned it in the last episode, actually. I remember saying those words before, and I can't imagine who I'd have said them to in real life, so I must have said them to you lot. But I think substitutions are incoming, and I wish the new defensive midfielder I signed was fit, because at this point he'd be coming on for Merson, and we'd be dropping to a 4-3-3 on counter-attacking. As it is, I don't really trust Leshy or Davidson to drop back there. So I think what I'm going to do is bring on Salcedo for Nelson, because it's just a straight swap. Nelson's not having a good game. We're going to bring on Suma for Jamie, because, again, straight swap, and Jamie's not having a great game. And we're just going to leave it for another 10 minutes and wait for the next goal to tell me what to do. I mean, this is management. You're watching management here. So, Leshy probably needs to be involved in this match to some extent or other. And I think, but do I take off Captain Tommy Merson in a local derby? Is he the reason we're winning? Junior David's shattered, actually. That makes my mind up for me. Get Leshy on to partner Davidson for the last 10 minutes, just to make sure we keep control of that midfield. Bringing on a world-class midfielder with 10 minutes to go, that would do, wouldn't it? Right, here's Martellet. He seems to always be on a yellow card. Have we signed the new Rob Tamelty? That's a little nod for the long-time viewers there. Salcedo crosses to DVD, and he might have looked rubbish 5 minutes into the game, but 5 minutes from the end, and he's only scored our second goal. And now we do need to drop down to counter-attacking and just try and stop Chelsea from scoring 3 times. Yes, we're still thinking in terms of let's not lose. So let's pause it. Yeah, we don't need to see the celebration, as delicious as it was. Tactics screen, drop Tommy Merson back into the midfield. Davidson's going to have to drop deep. Merson doesn't like being there at all. He's doing this under duress. I mean, he can't really do anything back in midfield, but for 5 minutes with a captain's armband on, you think he might be able to just force himself to. I was supposed to change this stuff. No, not control. Counter-attack him. That's what we want. So counter-attacking with it. I don't even remember setting an instruction for the defensive midfielder. I wonder what he'll have gone to by default. Presumably defensive midfielder on support, maybe? I guess it doesn't really matter because we've won the game 2-0. We are only 3 points behind Chelsea. There is a title race going to be happening this season, boys and girls. There is most seasons, but what's unique about this one is we're involved in it, which is nice and new. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.